is the Wilson composite leather NCAA game replica ball compared to the NBA Zi indoor-outdoor ball. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies. So today we are comparing these two basketballs against each other to see which one might fit you better. So 5 criteria, right? I do what are the balls made out of, the material of the balls, the pebbling of the balls, the grip channels of the balls, the perceived durability of the balls, and the value of the ball in terms of how much do they cost and is it worth it. So first of all, in terms of the material of the balls, they're both pretty much composite leather. The Wilson ball is genuine, actual composite leather, and it feels like it. It's very smooth, very soft, kind of buttery, right? The Spalding Zi ball is a composite material. It's not actually composite leather. It kind of feels like composite leather, but when you compare these two against each other, the Wilson ball feels higher quality. It feels like actual composite leather. It's nice and smooth and soft. It feels really good. A very high quality feel to this ball. When you compare it to this ball, this feels like a cheaper material ball. Now, this ball by itself, not compared to this ball feels completely fine. No problem with this ball whatsoever. But when you put the two side by side, there's almost no comparison. This ball is much higher quality and it feels like it. In terms of pebbling, this is where you can tell the difference between a more outdoor ball compared to an indoor ball. Now, this is an indoor-outdoor ball, and it's intended to be both indoor and outdoors, and it can be, and it works just fine for both. But the Spalding Zi ball feels more like an outdoor ball because the pebbling is more pronounced. You can feel it more. The pebbling on the Wilson ball is not as pronounced, but that's okay because it's actual, genuine composite leather, so it feels softer. It has a better natural feel to it. This ball is intended more so for outdoor use. That's why the pebbling feels more pronounced and it kind of feels more rubbery than this ball. In terms of the grip channels of the balls, right? So the Wilson ball has nice average to above average channeling on the ball. Wilson balls usually have pretty good channeling, and this ball is no exception. One of the nice things I like about the channeling on this ball is how you can actually feel the seams of the channeling on this ball. So a lot of balls, like for instance on this ball, the channeling, the seam itself is flat. You can't really feel the seams, like the edges of the seams of the grip channel, which is not really a problem, and a lot of balls, most in fact, are kind of like that. But it's an advantage of this ball when you can feel the edges of the seams of the grip channels on this ball, because it just gives you more reference points for your fingers to feel where they are on the ball. So not only are the grip channels more pronounced on this ball, because the seams protrude a little bit, you have more reference points as where your hand falls on the Wilson ball. On the Spalding ball, the grip channels feel like an afterthought. Unfortunately, the grip channels in this ball are just kind of flat. They're there, you can feel them, you can notice them, but they are definitely more of a second afterthought kind of feel. And that's too bad, because this ball, in terms of the material it's made out of and the pebbling on the ball, it's just kind of average. If this ball had better grip channels, it would have more value, but because the grip channels are average at best, this ball stays right in line with being just an average ball. The perceived durabilities with this ball, so it's going to come down to how you use these balls, right? They're both intended for indoor and outdoor play, and outdoor play on concrete is going to have more of a injurious factor on each of these balls. It's going to wear down these balls faster as opposed to using them indoor on hardwood. And I gotta say that while you would kind of expect that the more rubbery feeling ball would have better durability, because you would assume that because it is kind of more engineered for outdoor play than this ball, that this ball would be engineered to have more durability because it's supposed to be used outdoors more so than this ball. At least that's the way it feels when you're holding them. But the bottom line is this ball just feels like it's a better, higher quality ball than this ball. This ball feels like it's going to wear down faster than the Wilson ball. The Wilson ball feels thicker. The material feels thicker. The material that this ball is made out of is, there's a foam backing inside of this Spalding ball underneath of this composite material, whereas this is actual composite leather. The composite leather that this ball is made out of is a higher quality material than whatever composite material this ball is made out of. So I would assume that this ball is going to last longer, having better durability than the Spalding ball. And to end out how the balls feel, my last criteria is value, in terms of how much money you pay for these balls. Now, they're both about $30 in my area of Michigan in the United States. And I have to say that the Spalding ball, just by itself, if you were not comparing it to the Wilson ball, it would feel like a good quality ball, and it would feel like when you go to the store and you're feeling balls on the shelf, this Spalding ball would feel like it's right in line with other $30 basketballs. But when you compare it head to head with the Wilson NCAA ball, this ball for $30, even if it's $35, right? It just feels so nice. It feels like a high quality ball. It's almost a steal at $35 to pay that much money for this ball, especially when you compare it directly to probably what's more of a mainstream $30 basketball. When you compare it head to head with the Wilson NCAA GAM Replica ball, the Wilson ball just feels better. It feels like a higher grade quality ball. So much to the point where you would feel like $30 for this ball, you're kind of overpaying. Now, again, by itself in the store, $30 seems just about right for this ball. But when you put them together, this ball, $30, $35 compared to this ball for $30, $27, whatever it may be in your area, this feels like a good value. This feels like maybe it's a little bit overpriced. And as I said in my review of this ball specifically, this ball has a weird build and construction to it. So this ball is made out of some kind of composite material. It's not actual composite leather. And the grip channels on this ball, the seams of the grip channels are right in the middle of the grip channels. The seams where they kind of meet together, because these are rubber strips that are placed throughout the grip channels of the ball. Like, they're actually laid down and glued onto the grip channels of the balls. And usually the seams are right here on the corners of the ball. But the seams of this Wilson ball are right here on the corners of the grip channels. Why? Because when people shoot, they don't usually put their hands on the corners of the grip channels in order to shoot. You always usually put your hands right here in the middle of the grip channels when you shoot the ball. But when you do that, I dropped that. I'll be right back. But on the Spalding Zi ball, the seams of the grip channels are right here in the middle where a lot of people's middle finger go when they shoot the ball. And that can be distracting when you catch the ball to shoot and your middle finger hits that seam. Is it going to throw off your shot? Is it going to physically break down your shot if your finger's on that seam of the grip channel? No, it's not going to mess up your shot, but it can be kind of distracting, and it's needlessly distracting. The seam should be over here on the corners, and they're not. That's just weird, and that's a weird construction of this Spalding ball. So I would say for the money, even if the Wilson ball is $5 more than the Zi ball, the Wilson ball is definitely worth that extra $5. It's definitely worth at least $30, $35. This ball, 20, 25 maybe. So which one would I choose? Which do I think is better? Well, it's really personal preference. I mean, that's what it always comes down to. So this ball just feels better. I like this ball better than this ball, but it's all about what you prefer in terms of textile feel of balls. So I like this ball because it feels like it's better, higher quality, and I just like that in general. But you may like the feel of a more rubbery kind of ball that's made for outdoor play. That might just be your preference. My very first impressions of these balls was that I thought I liked this ball better because I thought I liked the pebbling better because it's kind of more tacky, right? The pebbling itself is a little more tacky and grippy, and that's personally what I prefer. But now that I've experienced these balls and I've had them in my possession and I've had a few weeks of experience with them, I really do like the feel of this Wilson NCAA ball, even though it's not as tacky. The fact that it's made out of actual composite leather and it's softer, the feel of it, even though it's not as tacky, because it's softer, it has a kind of compensating effect for not being, as tacky as this ball. When you're handling this, because it's softer, you do feel like you have more control than you do over this ball. And the fact that the grip channels are more pronounced on this ball than the Spalding ball helps out as well in terms of feeling like you have more control. But if you like a more rubbery feeling ball, then this will be the ball that you want to buy. The construction is kind of weird on this ball with the grip seams and all of that, but if you go to the store and you feel this ball and you go, oh man, this ball feels exactly what I am looking for, then you should get this ball because it's going to perform exactly the way you think it's going to. Both of these balls perform great, and they both perform exactly the way you expect them to perform when you're first just feeling them in the store. So when you go to the store, you feel the balls on the shelf. Whatever one feels better to you is the one you should buy because it's going to perform exactly the way you expect it to perform for your needs. For those of you who've seen my review of my first impressions of this specific ball, you guys know that there's a big problem with this specific ball, which is it doesn't bounce. So, it doesn't really, you have to really put some effort into bouncing this ball. And like I said in that first impressions video about this ball, is that it's not a Wilson problem, right? It's not a Wilson branding problem. It's not an NCAA Wilson game replica ball problem. It's just this one particular ball that happens to be a dud that doesn't bounce. But it's not Wilson balls, it's not their NCAA line, it's not any of that. It's just this one particular ball. If this ball bounced the way it's supposed to, if it wasn't a dud, I would prefer this ball and it would be my go-to ball. But you can't go wrong with either ball. They're both good. It's just a matter of what do you prefer. Do you prefer a more composite leather feeling ball, or do you prefer a more kind of rubbery feeling ball that seems like it's made more so for concrete outdoor play? You can use this ball outside as well, and there's no problem with that, and it will perform at least as well as this ball. but it's just a matter of, do you prefer the kind of more rubbery feel of this ball, or do you prefer the leathery feel of the NCAA ball? That is my comparison of the Wilson NCAA Game Replica Indoor-Outdoor Composite Leather Ball and the Spalding NBA Indoor-Outdoor Zi ball. If you guys like this comparison, please give me a thumbs up. If you found this information helpful, if you think it's going to help you decide what ball you want to buy next, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out, and that is awesome. If there are any balls that you guys would like me to review or compare, let me know down in the comments, and make sure you hit that notification button so you're notified of when such videos go live, and I will see you guys next week.